Welcome back for video 2. This is Mrs. Cherniak, and I'm here with my assistants Eliza and Sarah, and hopefully you've already watched the first video that goes over our beginning commands so that you can get ready for whatever technique is going to come. If you didn't see that video, I'm going to put a link here and you can copy and paste it into your browser. Hopefully you guys know how to do that. If not, ask Mom or Dad to help you out. But this would be video 1 right here, going over our beginning commands. So now what we learned in video 1, we learned Chariot, we learned Kunye, which means to bow, and we learned Chambi. Chambi means to get ready. So now we're going to go over and practice those one time, and then we're going to listen for what the next technique is, and I'm going to teach you the stance for whatever we're going to do, okay? So let's practice those 3 that we learned before. Everybody take one little step this way. There we go, perfect. Okay, ready. So we're all relaxed in class, and we're listening, ready for whatever technique's going to come, and you hear your teacher say, Chariot! Kunye. Kunye means bow. Chambi. Chambi, hands come under the chin. We exhale, we get ready. And even though it's the opposite because you're looking at us kind of backwards, your left foot is going to be the one to step out. So let me turn around and demonstrate one more time. Chariot, Kunye, Chambi. My left foot steps out. Okay? I know you got it now. So we're going to move on. So the next thing we have to listen for is what technique are we going to do? Okay? Because we might be doing blocks, we might be doing punches, and we might be doing kicks. So there's 2 different stances that we use to get ready for whatever's coming next. And by stance, I mean it's the way that we position our body, okay, to get ready to do the technique. So we do something called a horse stance when we want to practice our blocks or our punches. And a horse stance, so if we're in Chambi like this, a horse stance is called Ju Chum Sugi. And when we say it fast, it sounds funny. We say Ju Chum Sugi. Okay, so Ju Chum Sugi is our horse stance. And how we get into a horse stance, always our left foot is the one that moves in and out for these stances. So if I'm in Chambi, Ju Chum Sugi Chambi, I just step out a little wider and I sit like I'm riding a horse. So I step out, I get my legs, my knees bent, I sit like this and my hands come back. Okay, so we took a little break to adjust the camera so you could see our feet. Okay, so we're going to go over Ju Chum Sugi. So when we're in Chambi, we're like this, and our legs are sort of straight. Okay, so everybody get in Chambi. When we go into our Ju Chum Sugi, our horse stance, this foot's going to step out. I'm going to get a little ahead of you guys, so I'm not stepping on Eliza. This foot is going to step out a little wider like this. And I'm going to sit down like I'm riding a horse, and my hands are going to come back like this. My fists are turned up, my elbows are way back. And the biggest thing is, this is an exercise to build your leg muscles. So you don't want a Ju Chum Sugi that looks like this. Because if I'm not sitting, then I'm not working on my muscles. And also, if you've ever ridden a horse or a pony, we don't ride a horse like this, right? We ride with our knees bent because it gives us good balance and being able to hold on to the horse. We want to bend our knees. So girls, let's go over our Chariot, Kunye, Chambi. Ready? Chariot, Kunye, Chambi, left foot steps out. Ju Chum Sugi, Chambi. Ah! Ooh, that was from practice that we just automatically did our key up. You guys don't know what that is, but I'm going to explain that too. Okay, but when we get into our stances, we do a loud yell, and it's called a key up. And we'll talk about that in another video. Right now, I want to focus on this stance. This is called a horse stance. Ju Chum Sugi Chambi. Our knees are bent, nice and deep. Not so far that I don't have good balance. This is way too deep, right? Just enough that my knees are bent like this. My muscles, I don't want to say they're hurting, but I can feel them. Okay, I know that I'm working on them. My hands our palms up in fists, and I pull them way back, right above where my belt would be. Okay, so if I'm turned to the side, my hands are back like this. You see that? And my knees are bent. Okay, so I'm in my Ju Chum Sugi, my horse stance. From here, we'll do our blocks. We'll demonstrate a couple blocks for you. It's Ogomaki. Let's do Ogomaki with our right hand. Ready? Hana. Do. Set. Net. Okay. Let's do single punch. Single punch. Hana. Do. Set. Net. Okay. Baro. Okay. So, you're going to be learning those blocks in the camp, but first I want you to know what the stance is to be able to do the blocks. So we do all of our blocks from that Ju Chum Sugi. So if we're in a Ju Chum Sugi like this, get back in your Ju Chum Sugi, girls, how do we get out of our Ju Chum Sugi? How do we finish? Okay, Eliza.
Your left leg steps.
Well, but how do you know when to step? It's another word, right, Sarah? What's that word? Borrow. So when we're finished with our techniques, we say another word, because how do we know when we're done? We don't know. We're not done until you hear this word, okay? So we're all finished. We did our last technique. We did our last block. And let's just do a punch. Ready? Right hand punch. So we have our technique out there. And then you hear this word, borrow. Don't move yet. Borrow means to finish. Okay, it means to come back to your ready stance again. It looks just like your chambi, but chambi is at the beginning, baro is at the end. So we finish our technique and they hear, and don't move yet again, they're going to hear baro. Our left leg, again, our left leg is the one that came out, so our left leg is going to be the one that comes back. So ready, let's try this. Get into your Ju Chum Sugi, just put a hand forward. It doesn't matter right now which one. We have our right one, but you can put anyone forward. And now I'm going to say the word borrow. So borrow, my left leg comes up, back out into my chambi stance, really. My hands come back into chambi, so I'm ready again. Even though I said borrow means to stop or to rest. And then there's a word at the end of every technique, we bow as a sign of respect to our instructor. It's a sign of respect. It's also meaning to say thank you for teaching us. Okay, so we're done with our technique, and we said borrow. We come up here. Left leg is going to move again, and we say shoot. So shoot means to bow at the end of the technique. So ready, shoot. Left leg comes in. We bow again 45 degrees. Okay, so let's practice that again. So let's practice from the beginning. Chariot. Heels are together. Kunye. This is before my technique. I'm getting ready. Chambi. Ready? Ju Chum Sugi. Chambi. Left leg comes out. Hands come back, and I give a key up, which is a loud yell. We do a couple techniques. Let's say we did punches. Let's do a right hand punch. Okay? We finished our techniques. We're all done. We're going to listen for that word that tells us we're done. It means to rest. Borrow. Left leg comes back up and out. Shoot. Left leg comes in and we bow. And then we relax and we just listen for whatever the next technique is going to be. Okay, so remember, Ju Chum Sugi Chambi is a what stance?
Horse stance.
A horse stance. And what techniques do we do from a horse stance? We do blocks and we do
Kicks. Punches.
punches. We do blocks and punches from our horse stance. Okay, so I want you guys to practice that so you'll be ready when the first class comes. You have all the words that you need now to be able to start and to finish. And you know the word for horse stance is Ju Chum Sugi. Good job, and I'll see you on the next video.